And one of the reasons that I was, not one of the reasons, the reason that I was out yesterday is because I went to Athens, Georgia, behalf of the Jim Thorpe Award, take a look at defensive backs, Georgia, Notre Dame, a couple of guys that I had my eye on in particular. True freshman Kyle Hamilton, who's from the Atlanta area, went to Marist. He's going to be a dude. He's every bit of 6'4", 225. He was not an early enrollee, and he earned his way onto the field basically in 2 weeks. They have him playing the nickel safety, the free safety spot when they go to their dime look. He looked really good. J.R. Reed at Georgia is a dude, and if that name sounds familiar to you, it's because he did play at Tulsa, and he transferred to Georgia. Matter of fact, showed up on the doorstep as a walk-on at Georgia, and not only earned a starting job at free safety, but is a captain on that football team that is going to compete for a national championship this year. Yeah. Philip Montgomery let that dude out the door, and I can get into that in another seg, right? But I learned a couple of things about watching Notre Dame and Georgia. The first one is Kirby Smart, as my man Spencer Hall says, lets James Coley call football games like a man tried to hold a fart in church. Okay? I get that you're a running football team, and I get that there are all kinds of hats that were at the dog walk in Athens outside of Sanford Stadium that said, run the damn ball. I get that's your identity. You run the ball, you play defense. But Jake Fromm is a chef. He's out here stirring. Let the man cook. Because that dude was throwing some NFL dimes. I'm talking about the opposite hash on that deep out that everybody wants to see the arm strength. You could see him putting it on Lawrence Cager. You could see him finding out, just looking around, making the right read, making the right play. Now, he's got an outstanding offensive line in front of him, but he lost starting guard early on in the game. They had to replace him. They had to figure it out. And Notre Dame's defense is much better than we thought it was, right? Specifically the linebacker play. But outside of that, the atmosphere was awesome. Georgia knows how to do a night game. It is the best environment that I have ever been to. Yeah, that's not recency bias. That's not me going out there on behalf of the Thorpe Award. It's flat out true. Because there are 92,000 people in there, and I think the 92,000 scared the hell out of Notre Dame more than the Georgia 11. Because they had like 6 false start penalties, and when Cole Kmet was not tearing up the secondary, they looked out of sync. They couldn't run the ball. You know, you got all these Notre Dame fans that are wanting to say that, hey, we were without our starting 2 running backs. Yeah, well, Ian Book had legs. And when Brian Kelly decided to run him out on the perimeter, they were getting some things going. Could have been a much more competitive game than it even was. But outside of that, you could see why people live and breathe this thing. I mean, I'm talking about, he had, I think we counted, me and my buddy, we went down there with a friend of mine, David Patrick. Women wearing black leather skirts in like 90-degree temperatures. You know, people were tying one on. We're talking about slamming bottles of Smirnoff. They tailgate like it's their job. Oh, everybody was really happy to see us, not knowing what we were there for, who we were there from. First-class organization. I'm going to reel this off right quick. I got to dap up Rich Homie Quan, which was awesome. Saw Champ Bailey call the dogs, which was awesome. Ric Flair on the sideline. That was awesome. And then the recruits that they brought in for this game was just ridiculous. And I'm a recruiting guy, so I knew who these dudes were and what they look like, and they did this thing where they separate you. They put you on one side, they put the recruits on the other, because I think they know what's going on. It's like somebody's going to try to get at them. Eric Gilbert is enormous. Like, we knew this. This is the number 1 tight end in the country, Patrick. But he is every bit of 6'5", 250, and when people ask me what a 5-star looks like, that's the dude. That's him. And just towering over people. Just enormous. And this dude was bigger than Jermaine Johnson. Excuse me, not Jeremiah. Jermaine Johnson, who is a starting outside linebacker at the same position at Notre Dame. Number 1 JUCO player in the country last year. Transferred in. And you can see that those are the kind of guys that Kirby Smart is getting over there. And they did a phenomenal job with their production. They did a phenomenal job with the atmosphere. Students were filing into the stadium, and it was full like 2 hours before kickoff, dog. Like, when have you ever seen that at Oklahoma, at TU, at Oklahoma State? You haven't. To which they would be like, yo, it's really difficult to get up and at them for South Dakota at 6 p.m. To which I would say, yeah, you're right. You're right. This is Notre Dame, Georgia. It's a big deal in the South. Big deal everywhere. A lot of people wanted to see Notre Dame get beat down, and Notre Dame won a lot of people's respect. But I had a really good time, Patrick. Like, I was amazed at how much fun I had. Now, well,
but
no, man,
you didn't know what to experience.
No, and I experienced 3 hours of traffic for a 20-mile drive back to my hotel too. Like, I thought I had it bad driving back from Oklahoma games. Nah, This traffic was otherworldly. I've never been like, again, hotel's 20 miles from the stadium. It took 3 hours to get to the hotel. I walk in at like 3 a.m. after a 7 o'clock kick. I mean, good night. And then the time change is just an hour, but I was hurting. You know, getting on the flight to come back and all that stuff, man, is good. It's good. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, I got it. I got to do it again. And I was able to get some stuff for the girls, and that was nice. It's always fun to bring home stuff from where you've been. And Hartsfield Jackson, you're still a great, horrible airport with lots of stories. Lots of people watching going through there, man. It's gonna scare some people sometime if they just go there, because especially on a Sunday when you got all these college football fans who are still hungover and drunk, it's an atmosphere.